You want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You can't handle the truth!
Well, we're giving you the Michigan Sports Truth, the show that reveals facts, truth, research, and statistics and never messes around. We lay down the entire truth about everything regarding your Detroit and Michigan sports teams, no matter if it's good or bad. No junk, no entertainment, no homerism, no coddling, no pop culture, no opinions, no shilling, and no fluff. Head over to our website at MichiganSportsTruth.com, follow us on Twitter at Michigan_Truth, and like our Facebook page, The Michigan Sports Truth. The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast do not take any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.
And welcome to the postgame edition of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast for Thursday, May 31st, 2018. It's the end of the month, which means I got a Sabermetrics update coming up, plus Dwayne Casey meeting with the Pistons tonight, and Ken Holland continues to defy his rebuilding, Chris Ilitch's rebuilding command. Still thinking it takes 10 to 15 years to rebuild. But first off, this another win for the Tigers.
That one is long gone!
They beat the Angels 6-2 to take 3 of 4 and win 11 of their last 15. Ryan Carpenter, 4 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 5 hits, 0 walks, 3 strikeouts. I don't know if he left a game with an injury or anything like that. Warwick Saupold came in relief through 2 innings of shutout baseball, got the win, improved to 3-1. Tigers scored 5 runs in the first inning. Ronnie Rodriguez was called up today. Got an RBI infield single, first MLB hit and RBI. Tigers now improved to 26-30, second place in the American League Comedy Central, 4 games back of the Cleveland Indians, who are 29-25. 7.5 games back, 3 spots back of the wild card spots, 7 worse, still 7th worst in the American League. Already on pace for fifth. I'm going to say that later in my analogic commentary, but their next game is against the Toronto Blue Jays Friday at 7:10. The Blue Jays, 25-31, 4th place in the AL East, 14 games back of the Red Sox, who are 39-17. The Blue Jays are 8.5 games back of the wild card spots and 6th worst in the AL. Blaine Hardy for Detroit is 1-0 in the starting pitching matchup. 2.70 ERA, 1.15 WHIP versus James Garcia. 2-3, 5.52 ERA and a 1.51 WHIP. Not only on paper, but visibly, Blaine Hardy is supposed to unanimously outpitch Jamie Garcia, and the Tigers are at home too. Tigers face the Jays Friday at 7:10, Saturday at 4:10, Sunday at 1:10. But there was a goose that appeared last night, and fans and media are believing that it's going to be decide that it's going to be a rally goose to help the Tigers improve. And the delusional media, including MLB Network, is starting to pick up on that, and they believe the Tigers are using such a thing as a rally goose to win a lot more games as of late, just because it appeared on the field just last night. The Tigers were already on that trend right before the goose appeared. That was 9 out of their last 13 games. That was when the Tigers won 9 out of their previous 13 games before their last 2 games prior to the Goose's appearance. So that's gonna wipe out people's delusions that it's going to help them. They don't need that. But of course, the media, like MLB Network, is going to draw more fans into this delusion and make them believe that the stupid goose is going to help them, the Tigers, to improve. Not that they believe they're going to come all the way back up to make the playoffs. That's definitely not going to happen. But this is a delusion that fans should never fall for. The Tigers are only beating the easier teams mostly just to at least try to make themselves relevant and entertaining for the fans' personal sakes. They still have to play plenty of tough teams for at least some days for the rest of the season, such as the Yankees, who are coming to Detroit for a make-up doubleheader back in April. That's in the beginning of June, which is coming up very soon, the soonest of all. The Red Sox, afterwards at Fenway Park especially, the Houston Astros, the Oakland Athletics, the Chicago Cubs. The Oakland Athletics are projected to tank, but they're not. The Chicago Cubs, they're still a good team, even though they're almost mediocre and they're chasing the wild card. Also, the St. Louis Cardinals, and especially the Milwaukee Brewers, who are 36-21. Man. And the Tigers have to play plenty of road games still, which they are still bad at. They're just only good at home, like I keep pointing out. They're not necessarily road warriors. More importantly, as Ed Smith pointed out in our latest midweek edition, episode 7, the Tigers are on pace for 50 losses through midseason and 100 losses towards the end of the season. Now, for the Sabermetrics update, the top 3 WAR players, Heimer Candelario, he checks in with a WAR of 1.7, wins above replacement. Nick Castellanos, 1.4 at number 2, even though his defensive WAR is negative 0.7 and his RDRS per year, BIS defensive runs saved above average per 1,200 innings, is a negative 14. A negative 14. A negative 14 defensive runs saved per year ratio of negative 14.
You are pathetic!
And then at number 3, Jacoby Jones, 0.7 above 0. You can follow the rest of the Sabermetrics online at baseball-reference.com. Look up the Tigers' advanced statistics for those who are into it. And for those who are not into it, they better look it up anyway. So, that's Tigers talk.
Left sideline, 3, and he answers.
In other Michigan sports news, Dwayne Casey, the former Toronto Raptors coach who was the top nominee for the Pistons head coaching vacancy, is scheduled to meet for the Pistons later tonight. Also, San Antonio Spurs assistant coach Ime Udoka was emerging as another candidate in case this backfires. So, we got to keep an eye on that and see what happens. And the Red Wings reportedly are looking to trade this year's 6th overall NHL draft pick.
You stupid. You blew it!
And they are looking to sign defenseman Mike Green and are nearing a bridge deal with forward Anthony Mantha. I mean, what the hell is Holland thinking? Ken Holland still is proving that he does not want to rebuild. He wants to trade it's a 6th overall pick just because it's too expensive, according to Kyle McElmurray of Winging In and Motown, one of the fanboy sites from SB Nation. He headlines, The Red Wings ready to trade 6th pick in the 2018 NHL Draft. King's ransom or fool's gold? Of course, Han's going for fool's gold. Of course. And the 4 projected 6 overall nominees for the 6 overall pick are Quinn Hughes, defenseman Adam Boquist, forward Oliver Wahlstrom, and defenseman Evan Bouchard. And Quentin Hughes, Quentin or Quinn, whichever, they're probably the same thing. Quentin Hughes is a former Michigan Wolverine, midterm CSB ranking from North American 4th, final CSB ranking 6th. Doesn't even matter. Yeah, that doesn't even. Yeah, the NBA Finals doesn't matter, but this does here. Quentin Hughes, a defenseman that the Red Wings are projected to pick. The Red Wings, and now the Red Wings, I hear, are looking to give it away. For what? Again, typical Ken Holland, man. That said, I hope the Pistons get Dwayne Casey tonight, and no sooner than tonight. If that's what that news leads me to. Or I can decide not to fall for this loyalty thing, which is slightly lingering between Ed Stefanski and Dwayne Casey. But that being said,
it's now time for the National Sports Report with Louis Tenore.
Take it away, Louis.
Okay, there we go. All right, we'll start with on the diamond. Right now, the Yankees and the Orioles are involved in a delay. The game was supposed to start just after 7. As of right now, it's still in a delay. It's probably raining somewhere in Baltimore, and we'll get that tomorrow. Right now, bottom of the 3rd, Cubs and Mets are scoreless, but the Mets have bases loaded with 2 out. Quintelli is pitching and Contreras is at bat. Bottom 2, Cardinals lead the Pirates 4-1. Runner on first and 1 out. Williams is pitching and Bam is at bat. Tigers beat the Angels today 6-2. Sepulveda got the win and Hensley got the loss. Athletics over the Rays 7-3. Hagan got the win. Starking got the loss and Caron got the save. Bottom 2. Nationals lead the Braves 1-0. Runners on first and second. Nobody out. Rourke is pitching in. Cameron Go is at bat. Phillies lead the Dodgers 1-0. Top of the second with 2 out and 2 out runners on first and second. Kershaw is pitching in. Nola is at bat. Games coming up. Twins versus the Indians. Just ready to start. Also just ready to start are the Red Sox versus the Astros. As a matter of fact, it's just getting underway right now. And McCullers Jr. and he's pitching in. Benedetti is at bat. Coming up at 9:10, the Marlins will take on the Padres. At 10:10, the Rangers will take on the Mariners. All right. So, with that being said, now let's check the standings, and they go like this. Leading off in the American League East, the Red Sox are 39-17. They have a 2-game lead right now over the Yankees at 35-17. Braves are 28-27, 10.5 back. Blue Jays 14 back at 25 and 31, and the Orioles a dead last, 22 back at 17 and 39. Just pathetic. In the Central, Indians are 29 and 25. The Tigers are 4 back at 26 and 30. The Twins are 22 and 29, 5.5 back. Royals 20 and 36, 10 back, and the White Sox 12.5 back at 16 and 37. The West, Astros 35 and 22 have a one-game lead over the Mariners at 33 and 22. The Angels are 30 and 27, 5 back. Athletics are 29 and 28, 6 back, and the Rangers 11.5 back at 24 and 34. In the National League, the Nationals are 32 and 22, have a half-game lead over the Braves at 32 and 23. Phillies, a game and a half back at 30 and 23. Mets are 27 and 26, 4.5 back, pending outcome of this game. And the Marlins 20 and 35, 12.5 back. In the Central, Brewers are 36 and 21, have a 4.5 game lead over the Cubs at 29 and 23. Cardinals 29 and 24, 5 back. Pirates 6 back at 29 and 26, and the Reds 20 and 37, 16 back. In the West, the Rockies are leading at 30 and 28 at 26. Thank you. D-backs 20 and 27, a game and a half back. Dodgers 3.5 back at 26 and 29. Giants 26 and 34 back, and the Padres are 6.5 back at 24 and 33. All right, so we've got that taken care of. So now we'll go to tomorrow's schedule, and it reads this way. For your Friday, June 1st, we have the Yankees taking on Baltimore at 7:05. 7:10 games are the Blue Jays taking on your Tigers. The Cubs taking on the Mets. 7:35, Nationals taking on the Braves. A few 8:10 games here as the Brewers take on the White Sox. Indians take on the Twins. And the Red Sox take on the Astros. A couple of 8:15 games. The Athletics will take on the Royals. The Pirates will take on the Cardinals. 8:40, Dodgers take on the Rockies. 9:40, the Marlins take on the X. And then the late games are Rays versus the Mariners at 10:10. Also, the Reds take on the Padres at 10:10, and the Phillies will take on the Giants at 10:15. There are no NBA or NHL playoffs tomorrow, but the game one finals between the Rockets and the Warriors and the Cavaliers begin in about 45 minutes or so. Game 1 of round 4 between these two teams. Something that's never happened in American sports before, North American sports before. It's happened in other leagues around the world, but not here. So game 1 is coming up, and game 3 between the Capitals and the Vegas Golden Knights is Saturday, just after 8 o'clock. But there are some other leagues that are in play tomorrow. WNBA has 3 games on the schedule. Phoenix versus Minnesota at 8, Connecticut versus Chicago at 9, and Washington takes on Las Vegas at 10:30, and Vegas also plays Seattle tonight. Back-to-back games. Rare in the WNBA. Well, it is. One game in Major League Soccer tomorrow. And that will actually, yes, it's Colorado versus Vancouver. That is at 9 o'clock. Just in case of purse winners. And the college baseball begins their championship tomorrow, starting with the regionals. And I just happen to have a list right here of the games, and they go down like this. Oklahoma takes on Mississippi State at noon. I'll read the noon games first. Washington takes on UConn. Columbia takes on Florida. St. John's takes on Vanderbilt. This is like baseball's version of the basketball NCAA tournament. 1 o'clock games, Oklahoma State versus South Florida. That's the only 1 o'clock game. 2 o'clock games are Northeastern and Auburn. Georgia, Gonzaga versus UCLA. Troy versus Duke, although they're a better basketball team. North Carolina A&T versus North Carolina. New Mexico State takes on Texas Tech. Ohio State takes on South Carolina. 3 o'clock, Oral Roberts takes on Arkansas. Another 3 o'clock game, Missouri State versus Tennessee Tech. 4 o'clock, San Diego State versus LSU. 5 o'clock games, Cal State Fullerton takes on Baylor, and Texas A&M takes on Indiana. 6 o'clock, Morehead State versus Clemson, and LIU Brooklyn takes on Coastal Carolina. Gee, I know some people are going to be interested in that game. 6:30, Florida Atlantic takes on Jacksonville. 7 o'clock, Stanford takes on Florida State. Also 7 p.m., Hartford takes on Stetson. Kent State takes on Louisville. UNC Wilmington takes on East Carolina. Army takes on North Carolina State. Houston will take on Purdue. St. Louis will take on Ole Miss. 7:30, Campbell takes on Georgia. 8 o'clock, Canisius takes on Minnesota. Also 8 o'clock, Dallas Baptist takes on Southern Miss. 9 o'clock, Texas Southern takes on Texas. A rivalry. 10 o'clock, Wright State takes on Stanford, and Northwestern State takes on Oregon State at 10:30. I just thought you guys might get in there, huh? All right, so now we'll get on to the news items of the day. How do you like this? Rays pitcher Nathan Eovaldi was not happy when Kevin Cash pulled him out as he was still working on a no-hitter. You know what? The only thing I say, if you're working on a no-hitter, even though your pitch count is a little bit up there, I say keep him in. He's doing well. He's doing the job. So why not keep him in? Okay, so he had maybe a high pitch count, 100 or so pitches. He's just doing his job. I mean, you got a chance to make a no-hitter for crying out loud. You can take him out of the game. If that was me, I wouldn't be so happy either. I never understood why they do that. It's just so stupid. There's no saying, finish what you started. All right, well, Cavaliers fans, I think, are breathing a sigh of relief as, of course, Kevin Love has been now taken off the concussion protocol list and is available for tonight's Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The news was announced by the team today. Love was still under concussion protocol as of yesterday, but has since then been released, and he is ready to go. I can only imagine what's going to happen during this game tonight. The state of Delaware is now allowed to offer state betting at all 3 of its casinos beginning this Tuesday. Delaware is now the first state to open for business since the Supreme Court struck down a federal ruling on state-supported gambling 3 weeks ago. The announcement was made just a few hours. It was made earlier today. They also have 3 casinos as well as a racetrack as well in the state. They also have that in New York State as well. All right. The fastest man alive, Usain Bolt, will not be getting back his 9th gold medal. A court of arbitration ruled to dismiss sprinter Nesta Carter's appeal against disqualification from the 28 Olympics for positive doping testing that was discovered 8 years later. Carter ran the opening leg of the 4x100 relay, and Bolt took the baton third as he helped Jamaica win in a record time of 37.10 seconds. The CAS panel said it could not accept any of the arguments raised by Carter, contending the test results should be ignored by the IOC disciplinary decision should otherwise be overturned for certain alleged failures. Okay, more news on the Cavaliers. Coach Tyronn Lue reveals he was suffering from anxiety attacks and is receiving treatment. Coach Lue was experiencing chest pains and coughed up blood on occasion when he left the team back in March for what was called personal reasons at the time. He told Rachel Nichols of ESPN, that's what he told her, and he is relieved that was nothing more serious than just anxiety. The anxiety is being controlled by medication. So thankfully he's going to be okay. And nothing more serious than that. I think another word to say is panic attacks. Well, last night, Capitals goaltender Brandon Holtby made the save of his career. Last night, as he sprawled across his net with a 2-on-1 with a stick save by night swinger Alex Turch that gave the Capitals the win 3-2. Capitals coach Barry Trotz said once Trotz made the save, they knew the game was in hand. Cap swinger Alex Ovechkin praised him and said, "Hey, that's our goaltender." Holtby made 37 saves on the night. The save that was seen around the world went viral very quickly.
Yeah,
Holtby was not overwhelmed at all.
I saw that too. Let me tell you. Not only did he make the stick save, he simultaneously corralled it. He smothered it at the same time with his blocker, and never got a rebound. That's why it's the save heard around the world.
Kind of reminds me of another save that happened a long time ago, although it was a different situation. That was on a penalty shot. It was in a game final, Game 4, if I'm not mistaken. I know you might not remember it, but I do. Rangers Vancouver. Boré was going for a penalty shot. Richter was in goal, and Richter made a save that you had to see to believe. Wow. All right. He said he was not overwhelmed at all. He says, I try not to pay attention to social media. We're just a group of guys trying to win a hockey game. That's all. And those are his words. And as I said, it reminded me of Richter stopping Pavel Bore's shot in 1994. I must be getting old to remember that. Okay, while most fans are not looking forward to round 4 of the Cavaliers-Warriors final, Kevin Durant feels differently about it. He said, I think it's great. When you have a great set of players on the court, it may not be as suspenseful as a lot of people want it to be, or as drama-filled, but hey, that's what you have music and movies for. LeBron was a bit more straightforward with his comment. Other teams had their chances to beat the Warriors over the past 4 years, as well as the Cavaliers. He said, if you want to see someone else, then it's simple. You just have to beat them. Or in the case, get to the finals. The Warriors have won 2 of the last 3 championships, while the Cavaliers took the title in 2016. That's after trailing 3-1 against the Warriors. As I mentioned, the Warriors and Cavaliers are the first North American sports teams to meet in a championship for 4 straight seasons or finals. Some say that it has hurt the NBA, but check the numbers. For example, the league's average attendance is 17,987 per game this season, the highest ever. And the conference finals were the most watched in 6 years, and the second most watched in 16 years. That according to Nielsen-based data that was released yesterday. It contributes to the rivalry, though. That's all. That's the way I look at it. And what's wrong with the rivalry? All right, continuing on down here. And the Capitals owner, Ted Leon, sent 200 employees to Vegas to attend the Stanley Cup Finals. Wow. That's what I call it. That's some boss. Rays outfielder Carlos Gomez is speaking out against the league's random drug testing program, claiming it's anything but random. There's anything written about it. Comments were made by him in Spanish following the test by MLB on Tuesday, 3 days after being activated from the DL. He told the Tampa Bay Times in separate comments that it was the 6th or 7th time he'd been tested this season. An MLB spokesman told Yahoo Sports this month that its drug program is run independently and has no say in who is tested, but maintain this testing is at random. So you say. But I beg to differ on that. All right, very disturbing story coming out from what happened, from an incident happened a few months ago. The mother of G League basketball player Zeke Upshaw, who died back in March when he collapsed on the court during a playoff game, his mother is suing the Pistons. She is filing a lawsuit accusing the league as well as the NBA as well as the Pistons for negligence.
That's what we're
Upshaw played for the Grand Rapids Drive as the G League team of the Pistons.
Yep.
He collapsed in a playoff game on March 24th and died 2 days later, my birthday. The lawsuit, which seeks a jury trial, was filed on Tuesday. That's fine. Filed Tuesday by the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York. The NBA and the Pistons, of course, are the defendants, along with the SSG Group, as well as the Delta Plex. The lawsuit alleges that medical personnel failed to attempt life-saving measures in a timely fashion, and that Upshaw's death could have been prevented. The suit says the team doctor conveyed to Upshaw's mother that he had stepped out before the end of the game and was not present when her son collapsed. The suit alleges the NBA failed to prepare and protect its players from sudden cardiac death. Oof. Now that's what I call heavy-duty stuff. Oh, boy. But they knew about the condition, though. All right. Orlando Magic named Steve Clifford as their next head coach. Clifford agreed to a 4-year deal with the Magic yesterday. According to ESPN, there was a formal news conference to introduce Clifford yesterday. Previously, Clifford was the assistant coach of the Magic under Stan Van Gundy and was head coach of the Charlotte Hornets for 5 seasons. Well, if you're under Van Gundy's care, oh boy, I feel sorry for you. Ohtani made his next pitching start.
Shohei Ohtani?
Yeah. With the Dodgers, the Eagles, and Tigers. Manager Mike Scioscia made the announcement yesterday.
Yeah, the Eagles.
Tuesday.
Not the
this is his first start in 10 days since the start was pushed back due to workload management. I think that means he was overused. And just when you thought you heard about all from the Ball brothers, well, we got more. LiAngelo Ball goes through a pre-draft workout along with other prospects for the LA Lakers. On Tuesday, Ball said when the teams asked about why things ended at UCLA the way they did, he says he does not remember much about it. Oh, sure, I just move on. I went overseas and learned over there, then came back and brought my talent back out there. But he says experience overseas contributed to his growth as a player as well as an individual. Just being more mature as far as coming in and doing what you have to do. And I don't worry about outside stuff. It's just like your brother. The Sixers and head coach Brett Brown have agreed to a 3-year contract extension, according to ESPN. I don't think they had the numbers on how much the deal was worth. Mets starter Steven Matz left the game on May 29th against the Braves with discomfort in his middle finger. X-rays were negative, so he could be out for just a short period of time. But that Mets team is a mass unit. I mean, they are getting one injury after another. And believe me, folks, when injuries start to add up, that could be devastating to your team, and it can really hurt them in the long run. So, while they may still look like they're in contention right now, with the way they're going, I don't think they're going to be in contention much longer. All right, so we got a few more baseball notes here I'm just coming across. Starting with the Cardinals here. Cardinals starter Alex Reyes returns to the DL with a significant lat strain. And it reads like this. The right-handed pitcher is back on the DL list 1 day after making his first major league appearance since September 29th of 2016. Reyes was placed on the 10-day DL list with a lat strain when he suffered during yesterday's start against the Brewers. Continuing on here, Cardinals general manager Michael Gersh said today that was a significant strain. It's not going to be a couple of starts, he said. It's going to be more of a few starts. We don't have all the information yet, so we don't know beyond that how long it's going to be. But it's not a minor injury, and we are gathering more information. Reyes pitched 4 scoreless innings yesterday in his return from Tommy John surgery, allowing 3 hits with 2 strikeouts and 2 walks. When it rains, it pours, folks. So, continuing on down here. Got another one from the Mariners over here. Mariners activate D. Gordon after disabled list stint for a big toe injury. Gordon had been on the DL list since May 22nd. With a right big toe injury, first suffered earlier in the month in Toronto, then unfortunately had aggravated it. The Speedy Gordon is hitting .304 with 25 runs and 16 steals this season. All right. So hopefully, but it was just a minor problem. But I'm sure he's going to be okay. All right, a few more notes here. This concerning about the Oakland A's. Oh boy. A's slugger Chris Davis activated the slugger Chris Davis after a groin strain. Was the 10-day DL list. He went on the DL list May 23rd, retroactivated to May 21st with a grade 1 strain of his right groin. Yes. Davis leads the A's with 13 home runs and is second on the club with 38 RBIs. Very impressive. 30 RBIs, and it's not even June 1st yet. And one more baseball note here. Phillies put Rhys Hoskins on the DL with a broken jaw from a foul ball off his face. Hoskins was hit in the mouth by his own foul ball in the 9th inning. Oh, wow. Monday, while facing the Dodgers, Kenley Jansen. He was removed from the game, but examinations, including a concussion test, cleared him to play on Tuesday and delivered a pinch hit double in a 6-1 victory. However, a more extensive examination yesterday morning revealed the fracture. Hoskins won't need surgery on the jaw, thank goodness, said by manager Gabe Kapler, who didn't have a specific time frame for the outfielder's return, but believes it'll be weeks, not months. The Phillies recall outfielder Dylan Cousins from AAA Lehigh Valley, that's in Pennsylvania, to take Hoskins' place on the roster. Hoskins' move was retroactivated to yesterday. Hoskins was 14 for 87 at the plate in May after going 27 for 89 in March and April. He is hitting .223 with 6 home runs and 28 RBIs on the season. The Phillies also recalled right-hand pitcher Mark Leader Jr. from Lehigh Valley and designated for assignment right-hander Drew Hutchinson. And that's the information I got from there. All right, so we'll just check the scores before I pass it back. And right now, the Yankees in Baltimore, I believe, are still in a delay right now. Yes, they are still in a delay. I think this game might be taking a doubleheader.
Postponed, yeah.
Top of the fifth, the Cubs now have a 2-0 lead over the Mets. 2 out, nobody on. Robes is pitching in. Hayward is at bat. Cardinals lead the Pirates 4-1, top of the fourth. 1 on, nobody out. Flattery is pitching in. Moran is at bat. Bottom of the third, the Braves now lead the Nationals 3-2. Runner on second, nobody out. Rourke is pitching in. Back in there. Marquez is at bat.
Oh, Nick Markakis.
Phillies are leading the Dodgers now 1-0, top of the fourth, with a runner on first and 2 out. And Kershaw is pitching. Henry is at bat. Top of the second. Indians lead the Twins 3-0. No one on, no one out.
This is the post game.
Johnny is pitching in. Allen is at bat. Top two rather. The Astros lead the Red Sox 2-0 with a runner on second. McCullers Jr. is pitching in. Leon is at bat. And all the rest are final. Alright, as I mentioned, the tip-off is about now 20 to 25 minutes away. Coming up between Cleveland and Golden State. So, that's my report. I'll hand it back over to you.
All right, before we sign off, we want to remind everyone to share this episode and our entire podcast on social media and have their friends share that as well, because we want to tell them that the Michigan Sports Truth podcast is searching for a wider local audience that is fans of sports. So please spread the word about the Michigan Sports Truth podcast on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts via iTunes. Its Facebook page, The Michigan Sports Truth, and its Twitter handle at Michigan_Truth. Again, the media, regional and national wise, are drawing more fans into those rally objects like the rally gum, the rally goose, the rally monkey. That's just, again, those are just delusions. Sports delusions, baseball delusions for sure. So, that's going to do it here. For Louis Tenore, I'm Taylor Phillips. Follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. Enjoy the NBA Finals. Thanks very much for listening, downloading, and sharing TTFN. Ta-ta for now.
Sorry, Ray.
The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast do not take any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.
Mission complete.